All right, let's talk about money, but maybe not in the way you're used to. We're not just diving into finance today, we're kind of looking at a diagnosis. We're going to explore the hidden mental traps that quietly sabotage our wealth, all based on Morgan Housel's fantastic book, The Psychology of Money. Look, I'm willing to bet you're smart. You've probably read the books. Maybe you've even got a killer spreadsheet or two. You've really tried to master every single investing rule and strategy out there. And yet, something just keeps pulling you back, right? It's this super frustrating cycle. And that's because being smart, well, it doesn't protect you from your own biases. If you don't get the emotional side of money, you're pretty much destined to repeat the same old patterns. And that gets us to the heart of it all. Your success with money has way less to do with what you know and a whole lot more to do with how you behave. It's not just about logic. It's deeply, deeply psychological. Okay, so this brings us to our first big idea. Your financial choices, they feel perfectly rational to you, but they might look absolutely bonkers to somebody else. And here's the thing, neither one of you is crazy. Your decisions are just a product of your own unique life experiences. I mean, think about it like this. Your entire view of how money works is built on this tiny, tiny fraction of what has actually happened in the history of the world. It's like you're living inside this little bubble shaped by your past, and it dictates pretty much every financial move you make. So, for example, someone who lost everything during the Great Depression might see the stock market as a lifelong enemy. But a tech worker who hit it big in the 90s, they might see high-risk investing as the only game in town. See, same world, totally different lenses. You can study the 2008 crash all you want, but you'll never truly feel the emotional scars of someone who actually lived through it. And our personal experiences, they're just one piece of the puzzle. Because behind every story of success or failure, there's this powerful mix of your effort, but also luck and risk. And we tend to forget just how powerful those last two really are. A really powerful example of this is the story of Bill Gates. The guy is a genius, no doubt, but he also had a 1 in a million stroke of pure luck. He went to one of the only high schools in the world with a computer back in the early 70s. His friend, Kent Evans, was just as brilliant, went to the same school, but he was hit by a 1 in a million stroke of risk, a fatal mountaineering accident. Two brilliant minds, two totally different outcomes, and neither was fully in their control. Okay, so this leads us to a huge trap that so many of us fall into, confusing looking wealthy with actually being wealthy. It is a great deception, and it can quietly just wreck your financial future. You know what I'm talking about. We see the fancy car, the luxury watch, the amazing vacations, and we think, wow, that's wealth. But as the book points out, spending money just to show people how much money you have is literally the fastest way to have less money. It's the exact opposite of wealth. Think of it this way. Looking rich is visible. It's about spending. But being rich, that's invisible. It's the money you didn't spend. It's the unspent cash in the bank that's buying you freedom and options and time. Real wealth is silent. And this brings us to this really fascinating paradox. We often buy things to impress other people, but those people, they're not even paying attention to us. When you see that Ferrari drive by, you're not thinking, wow, what a cool driver. You're thinking, wow, if I had that car, people would think I'm so cool. So at the end of the day, your expensive stuff just becomes a mirror, reflecting other people's own desires to be liked and admired. Real respect comes from how you treat people, from humility, from kindness, from empathy. Those things will bring you way more admiration than any luxury car ever could. So if showing off your possessions isn't the path to wealth, then what is? Well, this brings us to your single greatest asset, something that's way more powerful than talent or even intelligence, and that's time. Take a look at this number, $156 billion. You know what that is? That's how much of Warren Buffett's wealth he earned after his 65th birthday, over 95% of his net worth. I mean, just let that sink in. He didn't get rich chasing some massive, crazy returns. He got rich by starting early and just staying in the game. And this is why.
Compounding doesn't work in a straight line. It's kind of like planting an oak tree. In year 1, you don't see much. In year 10, it looks pretty solid. But by year 50, it is massive and completely unshakable. The most powerful force in finance is just earning good returns for a really, really long time.
But staying in the game for that long isn't free. There is a price you have to pay, and it's not one that shows up on any price tag. And that price is volatility. It's the stress, the doubt, that gut punch feeling when you see your portfolio drop. But here's the huge mindset shift. It's not a fine for doing something wrong. It's the fee. It's the cost of admission to the greatest wealth-building machine in the world. And you have to be willing to pay that fee to get those long-term rewards. So all of this, understanding our own biases, skipping the social comparison game, using time to our advantage, it all leads to this final and maybe most important question. What's it all for? What is the actual goal here? You see, the greatest thing money can get you isn't more stuff, it's freedom. As Housel writes, controlling your time is the highest dividend money pays. It's not about luxury, it's about control. Deep down, what every single one of us really wants is more control over our own lives. This right here, this is the highest form of wealth. It's not a number in a bank account. It's the ability to live life completely on your own terms. To do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want. That is the ultimate prize money can buy.
And that brings us to the final thought. The game of always chasing more, it has no ceiling. There's no end to it. The only way you win is by refusing to keep climbing. So the most important financial decision you'll ever make isn't about an investment. It's a mindset. It's defining for yourself what enough truly means. What does that look like for you?